Today we will see on new topic. Uh, we're actually approaching towards the end of our syllabus. So today we will see uh, something about multiprocessor system. Okay, our topic will be multiprocessor system. Now, from the name, this topic is basically very simple topic. We have to just go through it. What is multiprocessor, what are the different types of multiprocessors, how it works, and like that. So basically, multiprocessor means in a very simple way, you can understand that you can say that it is a system with multiple processor. That is basically multiprocessor where there are more than one processors are running. So we can say that this is a multiprocessor system. Now, there are several different options of this multiprocessor system, as because sometimes we have seen that there are more than one processor present, but RAM is shared. Sometimes we have seen that there are more than processors present in a system, but hard disk is shared, or maybe it may be like that there are multiple processors, single memory, that means RAM is shared among those processors, but hard disks are different. Or even it can be like multiple processor, multiple hard disk, and multiple RAM. So that is basically a multiprocessor system all about. So a multiprocessor is a computer system with two or more central processing unit share full access to a common RAM, as I told you. So that means RAM is shared over here. Generally, that happens. We found that RAM is shared among the processors. Now, what is the advantage or what is the reason? The main objective of using this kind of system is to speed up or increase the system's efficiency. And with that, we get another advantage out of this kind of system, and that is basically this kind of systems are fault tolerant system. That means if some fault occurs, if some error occurs, in that case, this kind of system can handle it in a better way. As because there are multiple processors, so if some processor is not working properly, then there is some another processor who can take the responsibility and who can execute the process. So that is the basic thing about the multiprocessor system. Now you know single processor system, that means there is only single processor in your computer, and multiprocessor or sometimes parallel systems, though multiprocessor system and parallel system somewhat different. We will talk about that later on. So multiprocessor or parallel systems, um, uh, a trend is going on of this kind of systems. Okay, so these systems are multiple processors working in parallel, and that share the computer clock, computer memory, bus, peripheral devices, everything. So this is about the basic introduction of multiprocessor system. Now this is the picture. You can say whenever we will call multiprocessor system, that will be the picture of multiprocessor system. There you can see in multiprocessor system, you can see there are several CPUs, that is processors. They are running, and they are running parallelly as actually, and they are sharing a memory. Memory means here RAM. They are sharing RAM. So here we have not mentioned about the hard disk and all that. Here we have mentioned about the RAM, as because generally multiprocessor system means there are more than one processor with a shared RAM. So that's why we have given this picture over here. That is multiple processors are there with a single RAM, shared RAM actually. Okay. Now, uh, as I told you, that there are mainly two types of multiprocessors. One is called shared memory multiprocessor, another is called distributed memory multiprocessor. So in case of shared memory multiprocessor, uh, CPUs are sharing the common memory, as you can see in the picture. But in a distributed memory multiprocessor, in that case, every CPU will have its own RAM, or every CPU will have its own memory. So that is basically distributed multiprocessor. One is shared memory multiprocessor. Another is distributed memory multiprocessor. So in case of shared memory multiprocessor, single memory will be shared among all the processors. And in case of distributed memory multiple processors or multiprocessors, whatever you say, in that case, the along with the processor, the memory will be also, there will be individual dedicated memory. Okay, so that is the thing. Now, if we broadly see, there are different types of multiprocessor operating systems are present in our computer system, or in computing world. The name is like that: symmetric multiprocessor, asymmetric multiprocessor, shared memory multiprocessor, as I told you, distributed memory multiprocessor. With that, there is another type of multiprocessor known as UMA. We will call the full form. We will come to the full form. UMA. Another is NUMA. NUMA. This UMA and NUMA multiprocessor are very important. A question can come from this kind of architecture. Okay, so these are the some kind of multiprocessors. So let us see now what are they actually. Now, when I'm saying symmetric multiprocessor system, from the picture you can understand, symmetric multiprocessor system, there is a single memory, that is main memory, RAM. This RAM is connected with a system bus, you can see, and the system buses are connected. Each and every system bus, it has cache memory connected to it, and there is a processor. So processor 1 to processor n, each and every processor has its own cache, but they are sharing a single memory. So this is basically shared memory architecture, symmetric multiprocessor system. So from the picture you can understand, try to remember the picture. So in this system, every processor have own identical copy of its operating system, and they can make communication in between each other, in which all processors are connected each other with peer-to-peer relationship nature. It means there is no master and slave relation. That means there is no client server and all that kind of concept. Every processor equally, it has equal strength. Every processor has its equal strength, equal responsibilities and all that, you can say. So that is basically symmetric multiprocessor. That means every processor's its strength is equal. Every processor has its own dedicated cache, and every processor is sharing the common memory. That is symmetric multiprocessor. Then in the similar way, when we come to asymmetric multiprocessing, you can see from the picture, you can understand that in case of asymmetric multiprocessing, there is no such concept of shared memory. You can see in the picture I have given two pictures. You can see one is symmetric multiprocessing, jeta amra agei dekhe elam just, and asymmetric multiprocessing. In case of symmetric multiprocessing, every CPU is sharing the memory, but in case of asymmetric multiprocessor, the CPUs are not sharing the memory. There are some CPU which can be slave CPU. There are some CPU which can be master CPU. That means some CPU which governing other CPUs. So there is a supervisor subordinate relationship kind of thing. Masters are supervisor controlling the whole thing. Slaves are performing according to the instructions given by the master CPU. So that is basically asymmetric multiprocessing system. So in this system, every processor is allotted predefined tasks, কিছু predefined tasks দেওয়া থাকে, and master processor has power for controlling the entire system. So as I told you, master processor is main controller, so in which it uses the master slave relationship. Now master slave relationship means whatever instructions will be given by the master processor, it is the responsibility of the slave processors to execute those instructions. So that is basically master-slave relationship. So controlling authority is with the master processor. So that is basically asymmetric multiprocessing system all about. Okay. Next is we will come to shared memory multiprocessor. Now, in case of shared memory multiprocessor, basically these are some variations of other two. যেটা আমরা already দেখে এলাম তাদেরই variation. So in case of shared memory multiprocessor, you can see every processor has a common shareable memory. You can see common shareable memory. So processors are there, and they have a common shareable memory. That is basically shared memory multiprocessor system. Distributed memory multiprocessor system, there is no such concept of shared memory. You can see from the picture, every processor has its own memory and IO unit. Every processor here, you can see, has its own memory and IO unit, and all these processors are connected via a network. So that is basically distributed memory multiprocessor. So here, no such kind of shareable thing. Every processor has its own dedicated memory, has its own IO function, IO module, and all that. But they are connected. They are connected via a network. That's why they can work together. So that is basically distributed memory multiprocessor. Now, very important, UMA. As I told you, UMA multiprocessor, its full form is Uniform Memory Access Multiprocessor. Uniform Memory Access Multiprocessor. Question can come. The full form, Uniform Memory Access Multiprocessor, that is UMA. And NUMA, when I'm saying NUMA, that means Non-Uniform Memory Access Multiprocessor. So one is Uniform Memory Access Multiprocessor, another is Non-Uniform Memory Access Multiprocessor. Now, UMA multiprocessor, here it allows to access all memory at the uniform speed for all processor. So here all processor can access the memory in the uniform speed. So speed of all the processors are same, and they can access memory at the same speed. So that is UMA actually. And NUMA, in this system, it involves some areas of memory for accessing at the fastest rate, and left part of the memory are utilized for other tasks. So in non-uniform memory access multiprocessor, here every processor can't access the memory at the same speed. Every processor can't access the memory at the same speed. Some processors can access it faster. Some processors can access it little bit slower. So that is basically non-uniform. That's why the term coming non-uniform memory access. So one is uniform memory access. From the name, you can understand that when I'm calling uniform memory access, that means uniform rate. In the uniform rate, the memory can be accessed by the processor. And when I'm saying that non-uniform memory access, that means a variable speed memory access mechanism. Every processor will have different speeds, or some set of processor will have some speed and some other set of processors will have some other speed, depending on the task they perform, depending on their responsibilities. If the responsibilities is very obvious responsibility, very important responsibility, in that case we cannot postpone those particular tasks. So we have to arrange such provision so that those kind of processors can access memory very faster rate. And if there are some provision that we can delay somewhat, our task can be delayed somewhat, in that case we can go for the other set. So that is basically NUMA multiprocessor. So these are the different types of multiprocessors what we found. Okay, generally from the picture you can say, shared memory multiprocessor. Here you can see CPUs are connected with a common memory, so that is shared memory multiprocessor. That is also known as UMA, you can say, because every CPU can access the memory at the same speed. That is UMA. Now, shared memory with NUMA, that is non-uniform memory access. Here memory is connected with some set of CPU. Every memory is connected with actually some set of CPU. So suppose CPU 1 and 2, it can access memory at Xi rate. In that case, CPU 3 and 4 may have access memory in X2 rate, where X1 is greater than X2. So that is the concept behind UMA and NUMA. And distributed memory. In case of distributed memory, memories are separately connected with CPU. That is distributed memory. And in case of hybrid memory, there is another concept. Actually, there are various concepts. And in case of distributed memory and hybrid memory, actually from the picture, you can understand that distributed memory, every CPU has its own memory. Hybrid memory, you see, memories, I mean, suppose two CPUs are linked to single memory. That means in here, these two CPUs are sharing memory. But all the CPUs are not sharing same memory, but some of the CPUs are sharing same memory. But all the CPUs are not sharing same memory. That is basically hybrid memory. It is basically the combination of distributed and shared memory architecture. That's why it is basically known as hybrid memory architecture. So in that way, we got different architectures of multiprocessing system. Among them, I'm telling you, UMA and NUMA is important. And আরে বাবা ক্লাসে আছি, পরে ফোন কর, ওই জন্যই তো ধরছি না, পরে ফোন কর 12:30টার পর। আমি ক্লাসে আছি, 12:30টার পর ফোন কর। Okay. So now if we see some of the major characteristics of multiprocessor operating system. Now the multiprocessor system, it allows communication in between multiple CPUs, and generally the memory is shared, and also the input output devices are shared. Okay, this is the basic characteristics of multiprocessor operating system. Next is multiprocessor system. It can use different types of processor as per its need, such as central processing unit or an input output processor, and like that. Okay, so as per the need, there will be different types of processors. Now there is another important term. Multiprocessors are split into multiple instruction stream, multiple data stream. That means there will be multiple instructions that will be executed parallelly and like that by several processors, and there will be multiple data stream. That means different data, multiple data can be processed at the same time, like that. So there are two things actually in our systems, and in our system there are two things. One is set of instruction, another is set of data. So in MIMD, multi instruction, multi data, MIMD systems, multiple instructions and multiple data can be handled parallel. So that is MIMD systems. Now here, entire multiprocessor system is managed by the operating system. We don't have to take pain of managing those kind of systems. Everything will be done by our operating system. So if entire multiprocessor system is managed by operating system, and it allows the communication between all processors and IO devices. Okay, it allows the communication between all processors and IO devices. Now multiprocessor has a better reliability. Obviously, you can understand why. Because when you have multiple processors, the chance of failure gets reduced. So obviously, multiprocessor has a better reliability. You will get it reliable. It will be reliable much more. Now, if any processor gets failed, that's the reason. That's why I have told it is better reliability, better reliable. So if any processor gets failed due to any reason, then other processors can handle all functions of the faulty processor. So in that case, maybe your system may get slower, but it will work. It will not be halted. So like that. That is the advantage. Next is multiprocessor organization provides many benefits for enhancing the system performance, as I told you just right now. And the multiprocessing system has optimized architecture due to implement parallel processing. Now here, as we are using multiple processors, so parallel to achieve parallel computing, to achieve parallel computation is easier. Okay. Now in multiprocessor, use of different compiler, actually different compiler can be used. Those are able to identify the parallelism in a user's program in automation mode. So as we are in multiprocessing environment, so in case of multiprocessing, if you remember, previously we have discussed about multi-programming environment. But in multi-programming, I have told you that when there will be more than one processes are present in a RAM at the same time, so that can be called as multi-programming environment. And multi-processing is something different what we are getting today. Multi-processing means there will be more than one processors present in the system. That is the basic difference between multi-programming and multi-processing. Okay. So multi-programming may not be there are more than one CPUs, but multi-processing there will be more than one CPUs, certainly. Okay. So the main objective of using compilers to determine all the data dependency in the entire program. So as we are using multiprocessor, so different compilers can be used. Different compilers can be used, and different compilers can do their own task in a separate way. Okay. Now, if any program totally depends upon the data which are created by other programs, then the data is executed fastly without getting any delay. So that is another thing. If any program totally depends upon the data, suppose which are created by other programs, then that data is executed fastly without getting any delay. So delay time will be reduced actually. Okay, delay time will be reduced because there are more than one CPUs are present. So each and every CPU can work, execute one instruction. So more than one instructions are executed at the same time. So obviously delay will be reduced. Okay. So these are some characteristics. With that, there are other characteristics like if any data is executed in concurrently, then other parts of the programs can use them. Now, multiprocessors are categorized with their memory management, such as shared memory or tightly coupled multiprocessor. As I told you, tightly coupled multiprocessor means where there is no shared. There is no. Memories are shared. Memory যখন shared করা হচ্ছে multiple processor মধ্যে যেটাকে আমরা shared memory বলছি, that is also known as tightly coupled multiprocessor. And there is a term known as loosely coupled multiprocessor. In the loosely coupled multiprocessor, we means that memories are not shared. Each and every processor has its own memory. When each and every processor has its own memory, then we will call it loosely coupled multiprocessor. So there are two variations: tightly coupled multiprocessor, which is basically shared memory architecture, and loosely coupled multiprocessor. There is no such shared memory architecture. Each and every processor has different individual memory. That is loosely coupled multiprocessor. Okay. Now every processor is known as loosely coupled system, যেটা আমরা বলেছি এখানে আর কি, because they contain the own private local memory. So there are two things: loosely coupled multiprocessor and tightly coupled multiprocessor. Next is applications of multiprocessor. Now applications of multiprocessor. Suppose as a single processor or uniprocessor, single instruction and single data stream can be handled at the same time. Now, as a multiprocessor, such as single instruction, multiple data. Actually, data and instruction are processed in a separate way here. So we are saying that there are various, there are different versions like SISD, SIMD, MISD, MIMD, like that. SISD means single instruction, single data. SIMD means single instruction, multiple data. MISD means multiple instruction, single data. And MIMD means multiple instruction, multiple data. So when it is a single instruction, single data, so that can be done by a single processor. Okay. Now, whenever other things are involved, like single instruction, multiple data, or multiple instruction, single data, or multiple instruction, multiple data, we need multiprocessor system. And these things are actually, there is a term known as hyperthreading or pipelining the pipeline processors. You must have read this in your computer architecture, where pipelining of the processes, that means one process gets executed, then some other part of the process getting executed in a pipeline kind of thing. So that is the way, that is the technique we follow in MISD and MIMD kind of thing. Okay. So all these are basically the versions of multiprocessor system, and these are the advantages, you can say, or applications rather, you can say. Next, advantages we have already studied. So basically there are main advantages are like these systems are more reliable systems. Why it is given? These systems are more reliable systems as because if any processor fails, some other processors are there to take care about all these things. So that's why it becomes more reliable system. Next, it enhanced throughput. That means efficiency is increased. You can understand very well that why efficiency is increasing or how efficiency is increasing, as because there are more than one processor. So obviously, more than one processors can process more than one instruction at the same time, and as a result, throughput will be increased. Okay. Next is it is more economic systems. Obviously, if your efficiency is increased, it will be an efficient system, economic system. So these are the things about multiprocessor. Now disadvantage, if you see, if you try to understand the disadvantage. So disadvantage, the first disadvantage you can say that it is increasing cost, it is increasing expenses, as because more than one processor running. The systems become complex because more than one processor, they are sometimes they are sharing the memory, or sometimes they are not sharing the memory, uh, and like that. So obviously, expense will increase. Okay. Next, complication of the operating system is increasing. That is also the another disadvantage you can say. And next is large main memory required, as because every processor is sharing a memory. So obviously, large main memory will be required. So that is basically the things about the the disadvantage of the multiprocessor system. Okay. Uh, Next is the examples of multiprocessor operating system. If we see the examples of multiprocessor operating system, there are several processors actually. Uh, Windows NT, Solaris, Unix, OS 2, Linux, all these are symmetric multiprocessor system. And Sun operating system version 4 or iOS, these are basically asymmetric multiprocessor system. So this can be used as an example. হ্যাঁ আমি ক্লাসে আছি বল বল হুম হুম
স্যার মাইকটা মিউট আছে।
হ্যাঁ বাবা দাঁড়া একটু, আমি একটা কথা বলছি, দাঁড়া। তো সরি, যেটা বলছিলাম তোদেরকে, ওয়েট করতে হলো, ফোন এসেছিল। যেটা বলছিলাম তোদেরকে যে মাল্টিপ্রসেসর সিস্টেম, অপারেটিং সিস্টেমের এক্সাম্পল হিসেবে আমরা এগুলো বলতে পারি। For the symmetric multiprocessor system, there is these Windows NT, Solaris, Digital Unix, and OS2, Linux. All these operating systems, they follow symmetric multiprocessor approach. And some operating systems like Sun operating system, iOS, these follow asymmetric multiprocessor approach. So এরকম ভাবে different operating system follows different approaches. Okay, so that is all about multiprocessing operating system. That is all about multiprocessing operating system. মাল্টিপ্রসেসিং অপারেটিং সিস্টেম সম্পর্কে আমাদের এটাই মোটামুটি জানতে হবে। এর মধ্যে উমা এবং নুমা এবং ওই ছবিগুলো যেগুলো বললাম, বা SISD, SIMD, MISD, MIMD, these terms are important and specially important as because we are getting information that your questions will be I mean exam will be online mode and questions will be 1 and 2 marks. So these things may come. Okay, these short forms are very important, or or it will be asked question like what is Numa, what is Uma. In that case you have to write it in a shorter manner because it's a 2 marks question and all that. So that is the thing about, I don't know whether there will be scope to draw the pictures and all that or not. Maybe sometimes it is given picture draw করে হয়তো অনেক সময় করতে দেয় বা করার permission সেগুলো থাকে, but we don't know what will happen. But these things are very important. Multiprocessor system, what is multiprocessor system, what are the different types of multiprocessor systems, what are the differences among among them, how do they work and all that. So these things are important. So now tell me if you have any question up to this, you can ask me. If you have any question, you can ask me please regarding this. I mean, whatever we saw in this under this multiprocessing system. We are very near to our completion of our syllabus. আমরা এরপরে আমাদের শুধু ডিস্ট্রিবিউটেড এনভায়রনমেন্টটা থাকবে, that will be final thing. Acha, okay, I'm giving you another session. Join in the next session please.